chakras and why do they matter and why is Carol Tuttle talking about them? You know, I do think it is interesting in my world that I can go from hair and fashion all the way over to Chakra Energy System. But I'm going to tell you a story about myself to kind of see where you're going to see where this all started. That it had nothing to do with anything that I teach in my Dressing Your Truth content, that it actually started with the chakras. And I'll tell you about that in a moment. Just to keep you here and get you excited, what I can tell you right away about the Chakra Energy System, that it is honestly the most powerful system you have that's at your disposal every day to help change your life for the better. And it will, once you learn about what this energy is and you know how to work with it. It is profoundly potent, incredibly important to understand in today's world. In fact, I have a new book coming out called The Modern Chakra Guide. I'm Carol Tuttle, and some of you may be aware, but in years past, I was the foremost teacher of chakra healing here on the internet. I taught millions of people about their chakras. I had one of the most successful online chakra healing courses that we've since retired. I had multiple videos here on YouTube. You can actually even find some of those older ones and go, Carol, you look better now. But lighting and cameras are better too. You got to give that some credit. But millions of people came through my free chakra content, and thousands of people bought my online chakra courses. I am a master teacher of the chakras. Well, how did that happen? First, take a moment and subscribe to my channel, especially if you're interested in this content, because I've got some great new videos coming up to teach you about this very potent energy system that you want to know how to work with. And my next book, The Modern Chakra Guide, is going to be phenomenal for you, because I don't teach kind of the esoteric sort of what has been put out there for decades about the chakras. What I teach you has to do with what you need to know about this energy system in today's world, our modern day challenges and experiences, and actually what's happening with this energy that's evolving us as a humanity. And it's very fascinating once you see the parallels of, that's why that's happening. It's my throat chakra. Who knew? Because once you know how to work with this energy, you can start to manage it rather than feel like you're a victim to what it's doing to you. So subscribe, because that's all coming up. Well, I go into more detail in my book, but I'm going to give you the short story of a longer story I share in my book. I was 29 years old. I had 4 children, 6 and under. I was severely depressed, suicidal, stay-at-home mom. That's not a good combo. You know, severely depressed, mood swings, desperate, suicidal, not very hard to get up in the morning and make it through a day. And here I am in the position to be a parent, and I knew I was messing up my own kids. So by 29, this had really gotten personified in me. It was I was desperate. So I enrolled myself in talk therapy. And I also started doing 12-step work. I needed to be accountable for my life. I wasn't sure why I was in such a desperate place. I had not come to understand the effects of my childhood wounding and how it was now playing out in my adult experience. I really lived by the motto, you do what's right and you'll be happy. So I did a lot. I was an overachiever, and I really was addicted to being able to get results and doings in my life, do everything as perfect as I can, because I really equated that to my self-worth. The more good I could do, the more results I could get, the more value I had. Well, that fell apart with the birth of each child, because as you know, if you're a parent, you lose control in your day-to-day events because your children interrupt the control you have. And that's a good thing, you know. It's only not, it's when you have this conditioned addiction that you need to be able to control life to feel better about yourself, that when that's interrupted, all your emotional stuff comes forward and you realize, you know, I'm kind of a raving maniac and I didn't even know it, because I have so much anger I've never felt or acknowledged. I have so much sadness I've never felt and acknowledged. I have so much stuff that needed to be healed. It was just pulling me apart as a human being, and I didn't want to live anymore. I felt like the only way out of it was to end my life. But then I had this kind of weird thought that, well, if I exist forever, that's not even the end, and who knows what would happen. So I never took steps and followed through on anything, but I knew what it was like to live every day in that state of not wanting to live and trying to muster up that energy and that will to be able to parent my own kids. In fact, it was in my therapist's office about a month into my therapy that once he got really clear on how dysfunctional I was, and really honestly that there was a risk to my children's emotional well-being because of my states of rage and anger that would get triggered out of nowhere because of my lack of ability to control things, and I had no power to I had no skill set to work with any of it. He said, Carol, you have two choices. I either need to admit you to a psychiatric ward where you can be treated and we need to deal with this, or you need to hire a full-time nanny so that there's someone in your home that takes the demand off you and you can spend some of your time healing and get a sense of your environment again and start to progress in your own healing. And so I chose option 2. I hired a nanny. And at that time, in the late 80s, honestly, that wasn't a thing. You really felt defeated as a parent, as a mother, that, you know, you're a really good mom when you could do it all yourself and handle it with a smile on your face and do good things and be the PTA this or that. And, you know, my whole life was tanking. Well, after about 2.5 years in talk therapy, I kind of exhausted my time there. I really learned to be accountable about my dysfunction in my 12-step work, but I didn't feel I was healing at a deep level. And I really believed in the principle and the spiritual function of an atonement, being able to heal, to come back to oneness with myself, to be able to completely and fully heal and not be crippled through life on any level through emotional and psychological terms. So I presented that to God in my sort of pleading and desperate state still at times to say, I want to heal and I'll do what it takes. But I'm not healing at a deep level. I understand why I'm here. I get it. The therapy's helped. But I'm now just learning how to cope. It's like I have to go through life emotionally and psychologically crippled. And I don't want to do that. I want to get well. Well, unbeknownst to me, I was led to some things that were kind of like, what? What is this? I was led in 1991 to the work of energy healing through the body of work called Reiki. That was my first introduction. And interestingly, in 1991, I started to study the 7 Chakra Energy System through the body of work called Reiki. And I'm not going to get into the Reiki stuff. I might talk about that someday in a video and what that really is and how that even plays out in my life now and what I learned and what I did with it as a Reiki Master. But what is important for you to understand right now is in that early phase of my life when this was not even, there's, you know, this is weird. It's weird to a lot of people still. But in 1991, it was like super weird. What? Chakra what? But I was again desperate. A desperate state has its place because it makes you teachable. And so in my desperate state, I was teachable and I was prompted and I was inspired. Literally, God moved me. I knew it was inspired. I know the difference when it's just Carol Tuttle versus God. And I fortunately have had very, very, very strong promptings and impressions throughout my healing experience to guide me through life. And that was the first one that said, Carol, and it happened 3 times that I got very poignant, strong, inspired hits that said, this is the body of work you're meant to study that will help you heal. So I entered and started to study the 7 chakras. And I talk more about that in my book, The Modern Day Chakra Guide. And there was no weird stuff going on. There were no seances, chanting, no incense. We had a workbook. We started to learn about the 7 chakras. And I want to introduce you to those today. So get ready, because when you start talking chakras, we start turning them on. And that's a good thing. Because if they're closed or they're weak, you get side effects from that on any level. You can have physical side effects, emotional side effects, mental and spiritual side effects. They affect all levels of our being, and you want them open, active, and healthy because they just make life runs smoother. It's kind of like the engine in your car. When it's tuned and everything's working right and there's no signals going on in the dashboard, the car runs better and it's efficient and you get a smooth ride, and life can play out smoother for you when you get that chakra energy system running. So I'm going to show you a chart. I'm going to actually keep this up for a little bit as I go through each of the 7 chakras. You're going to learn about the foot chakra in my book, so I'm going to not get into that too much today, but I will introduce you. It's called the bottom floor of the root chakra. Your root chakra is that bottom chakra, and you can see that we've positioned these in alignment with your torso all the way up to the crown of your head, because your root chakra is down there by the base of your spine, or the it's called the perineum between your legs, that very, very base of your torso. And there, that energy now connects with the earth. Well, the foot chakra is a plate of energy that's your this is my spot on the planet. That is your connection to the earth. It's called the foot chakra, the bottom floor of the root chakra. It helps align you with your life purpose. You can take a stand. You can stand for your truth. Stand in your truth. Stand in your place of honor. I am. And I have a affirmation for each of these. I have a strong attraction energy that supports me in creating what is correct and timely for me, is the affirmation for the foot chakra. And that's connected to the base of the root chakra. And the affirmation for the root chakra is, as I live true to myself, I know I deserve to thrive and help others thrive. Because the root chakra is all about your physical thriving, your being stabilized in your body, present, connected, balanced. My needs are met. I flow money. My body is healthy. I'm able to be myself in a relationship. It's all about being rooted to your truth. You are rooted to you. You actually, which I teach in the book, how you can draw on the roots of your heritage, kind of like weed out the junk and connect with that which is good in your family roots. You want to draw in from your family roots that which blesses your life. And I teach you I help you identify what that is. It's really cool because I have a lot of things in my family roots that bless my life. And I weeded out the junk that was in my root chakra, because there's a lot of dysfunction in family systems. But the root chakra really has to do with just being true to yourself and accepted and loved in your family, or regardless if they do that or not, accepting and loving yourself. The second chakra is most commonly referred to as the sacral chakra. I like to use more practical terms because it just makes more sense. You go, oh, okay, I get it. The sacral chakra is about creation, both from creating pleasure on any level, from your sexual pleasure to pleasure in your life in general, and the creative juices that run through you, the creation of anything from you're building a new house, you're creating something, and you find pleasure in that. Your sexual energy is meant to first and foremost bring you pleasure in your body with those bodily systems. If that's been damaged, wounded, you'll have dysfunction there. So again, there could be weakness or a closed chakra that stifles the whole system. The affirmation for the second chakra that you can see, if you were to place it, put your hand right now on the middle of your tummy. That's the place of it. And repeat this after me. I feel my sexual truth and creative life force birthing out into the world. That is the function of that second chakra. You can see, and I've got another video that's coming out next week on the colors, because I've got the colors here, but I'm not going to talk about those. I'll talk about those next week, so tune into that video. The third chakra, often called the solar plexus chakra, I refer to as the power chakra because that's its function. It's your personal power. Your sense of, I have power and I use that power to make a difference in my life and others. That you have your source of power. Nobody's hijacking your power. You're not giving your power away. You're not repressing your power. There's a lot of things we do with our personal power. Other people hijack it from us. They're running our power source. you want to own your power and use it for the benefit of yourself and others. So the affirmation in that chakra is, it's right below, if you put your fingers between your breasts, drop them down to your solar plexus, put your hand right there and repeat after me. I am using my personal power to bless my life and the life of others. That identifies that your power is there for you first. And it's not for other people first, but you certainly can use it in behalf of others. Then we move on up to the heart chakra, chakra number 4. It's what it's commonly called. Some might call it the love chakra. The heart chakra is actually one of your most potent chakras. The bottom 3 all have to do with your outer world experience. The top 3 have to do with your inner world experience. The heart is the bridge between the bottom 3, the top 3. It connects the inner world with the outer world through your heart. Isn't that beautiful? I love that function of the heart chakra. Put your hand on the middle of your chest and repeat after me. I love. I am completely loved and lovable. I receive and give with ease. The heart is about receiving first and giving as a response. Receiving, then responding with giving. Receiving, it's reciprocal. That there's equanimity in our receiving and giving exchange energetically, whatever the form of that, with our time, our money, what we do with our time and money, that we are able to receive in the fullness and give in fullness. And so for most people, the receiving is what's not functioning properly. They're overgiving. They're not receiving enough. When you activate the heart chakra, you open the receiving to be equitable to your giving. And you can then balance out the giving and know maybe you're giving a little too much. And the whole broken-hearted thing, I teach you about how that's not really true. It's just a projection on the heart, because the heart cannot be broken. It's so potent, so powerful. So getting activated. You'll see that these next 3 chakras are getting activated even more potently in today's time, in our modern day. Now we move up to our throat. The throat is about thinking your truth and speaking your truth, but first you have to think it. So it has that dual function of thought, then expressing, or not always expressing, but claiming your truth. You know when it's important to express it. You know when it's more honoring of yourself to be quiet, but you sustain the truth in your own thought process. So that's just depending on the scenario, because you don't want to speak your truth with people in scenarios where you're prompted not to, because it may be challenged or questioned, and you don't want to have to be in a defensive position. But you still hold it dear to yourself, and you know it was spoken to yourself. So put your hand on your throat and repeat after me. I speak my truth, and it is liberating for me and others. And another function of when your throat chakra is active and working is people hear your truth, because you create that effect in the response, because that's the truth, that what I say is worth being heard. That's the truth you hold, and people respond according to your belief. Now we move up into the third eye, the intuitive chakra, middle of your forehead. And that now is a function of your insight, your inner knowing, your intuitive hits. And people are being given, this is getting activated very potently in today's world, because we're being taught to follow our inner sense of knowing versus our rational, reasonable mind, that the mind doesn't always know, that our intuitive mind is actually a better guide. And we're being given many, many chances in our day-to-day lives to exercise that function. So put your hand in the middle of your forehead, repeat after me. I am guided by my insight and intuition, and I confidently act on what I'm impressed upon to do with my life. I feel like we all need to take a breath in on that one. Then we move to the 7th chakra. Now the root chakra connects us to the earth and our physical experience. The crown chakra connects us with divinity, heaven, universe. There's different reference points. The unseen, the esoteric, the spiritual. It connects us with our soul. It connects us with God. The part of us that is sort of the higher knowing function of our truth, and we're now connected between heaven and earth in the entire chakra system. We're plugged into both. We ground with the root chakra. We open up inspiration and knowing and receiving divine energy through the crown. Put your hand on the top of your head and repeat after me. I am loved and supported by divine energies as I live my truth and fulfill my purpose. Take a deep breath. Well, you were just introduced to all 7 chakras. Good for you. It's so exciting to be able to now teach this to you in the videos and in my new book. Go to moderndaychakraguide.com. You can learn more about my book and the chakra system there. Why does it matter? Why did I write a book called The Modern Day Chakra Guide? Because most of the information out there, and this is what I became known for in my online chakra teachings that we're now bringing back. I'm so excited. It's time. I need to bring this information, new and improved chakra information, to the world. It's because the chakras are all being upgraded. They're getting activated at a higher vibration. The planet Earth is operating at a higher vibration, which then brings our frequency up through the chakra system. That's the energy system we're being opened up in our the chakras elevate our consciousness. That's how it's happening. And so as you learn about how each of these chakras is getting more potent, turned on, and running a higher frequency, you're able to identify where you're challenging it in your life and where you can tap into it to bless your life. And so it's just a learning of working with the whole system so that it will bless your life. And you want to know this because you can be creating havoc in your life by not knowing it without needing to create havoc. The more you know, the more you're in the driver's seat to be able to work with this energy so it blesses your life rather than causing crazy in your life. And that's why you see a lot of what appears to be kind of crazy in the world, because everybody's energies are kind of getting ramped up, and it's like they're not good managers of that. They're not aware enough to manage it. So it creates this acting out behavior that is so prolific in our world, whether it's just acting out through a throat chakra on Facebook and saying things that we're like, you're kidding me, like, really? Because the throat chakra is getting turned on, but it's not being managed well. Or the root chakra is getting activated and people are uprooting themselves from life stories and changing stories without needing to do that and causing drama. It's like, you don't need to cause drama. You just need to learn about your energy and work with it. So with that, go to moderndaychakraguide.com and check it out. I'm excited to teach you more. Next week, we're going to be talking about the chakra colors. So I know today's video was a little bit longer. We had a lot to go over. What'd you learn? What was an aha for you? Share it in a comment. Thanks for watching. We got more great chakra content. You're going to learn this isn't so weird. It was weird to me. It's not weird anymore now that I understand the practical applications. And my role and my opportunity is to teach you the practical understanding I have of the chakra energy system so it will bless your life. So thanks for letting me do that for you.